and welcome to this edition of Business Ambassadors. I'm your host, Curt Osweiller, and with me today is the president of the Noblesville Chamber of Commerce, Bob Dubois.
Hi, Curt.
Welcome
Nice to be here.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Happy to have you here. Celebrating your third anniversary.
It is. Just last week, I celebrated 3 years at the Noblesville Chamber, so I'll be excited about that.
Well, that is awesome. I know when you first started, it was a big process to pick a new president and stuff, and coming in, you had a lot of goals and other things that you wanted to accomplish. And since I sit on the board of directors, I know we've accomplished a lot of them. But why don't you kind of lay out some of the goals that you had in mind coming in?
Well, coming in from the East Coast,
right.
I needed to learn a lot about the community that I had moved to. We moved to Noblesville as a choice. We did it to be near our family, and so we knew we loved Noblesville from a residence standpoint, but I didn't fully understand all the business components to it. My last job on the East Coast was with the Chamber of Commerce as well. So we set out to really kind of take a read on Noblesville and what makes it tick economically, where are there opportunities for the Chamber to help advance some ideas. And so did this inventory. It took about 6 months and came back with what I saw as kind of a set of goals, a set of needs, and things were going so well here in Noblesville as they are in all of Hamilton County. There weren't nearly as many challenges as I had experienced in other communities, and so that was very positive. But then just trying to figure out exactly what will the Chamber do to make a difference in the community, and I wanted to make sure that the organization took some new steps to go in some new directions in order to do that, and that's where we've been on this 3-year journey to kind of shift the culture a little bit.
Right. So, in a couple of different things, I mean, what were a couple of the larger goals that you had in mind?
Well, the very first goal was to find more opportunities to work closely with the city of Noblesville to help advance the city of Noblesville's goals in the area of economic development, community conversation about how does it grow responsibly and effectively and serve the needs of everyone in the community. And we needed to earn our seat at the table. And so we need to develop some trust and some respect and show that we can add some value to that conversation. And so that took a bit of work for the first 6-7 months, just literally sitting in meetings in City Hall to learn and absorb, understand where people's individual interests lie, their collective interests as a community, figure out the process of how Noblesville moves some of these ideas forward as a community. So I think we've added some value. We built that trust, and now we're welcomed at the table as a partner, and that's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm not sure. A lot of people understand what the Chamber does locally and the value that it provides to local businesses.
I think there's a misperception out there that chambers are funded by city governments, and in fact, in some cases they are slightly funded by them. In our case, we are fully financially independent. We are supported exclusively by the generosity of the business community, who support our initiatives. Chambers do a variety of different things. We often are the place where people will call for community information and ask the oddest, strangest questions. And I wish I created a list of them. But if people don't know where else to turn for community information, they call the Chamber. If they're in a jam, whatever it could be, they call the Chamber. We have had people call us because they want to surprise a family member for their 80th birthday and don't know what to get them. We have people that have lost their homes and need to set up a new place to live and put their family in a safe setting. We've helped them. So there's a wide variety of things that we handle. We're kind of that first stop, first impression for a lot of folks for the community. We do an awful lot of business services because that's our core audience that financially supports us. But we want to make sure, our goal is to make sure that every business in Noblesville has all the tools and resources and information that they need in order to be successful. and so that can change over time. It's different for every business. It's difficult to be all things to all people, so we try to focus it into areas where we can make a difference. We try to point people to other organizations that might be able to do some of the other things that we can't do well.
Since you mentioned that, I know there are a lot of different things that the Chamber does to help businesses, and like you said, I mean, it really varies, depending on the type of business or what their needs are. But you have a lot of different programs and different things that you do. I was looking, like Tech Tuesday, for instance. I mean, can you kind of go into some detail about some of the different programs?
Sure.
Yeah.
So on a big picture level, we do work collaboratively with the chambers throughout Hamilton County in lobbying for regulations and public policy decisions that would support all of businesses in the community, and the business climate's pretty favorable in those areas. More locally, things like Tech Tuesday, we discovered that small business is really struggling with how to use technology in their business. Big business kind of they have IT departments, they can figure it all out.
Right.
Small business, who figures those things out?
Right.
And so we try to take experts within the business community and get them to provide their expertise to a group of our members or participants in our workshop series. We branded it Tech Tuesday, but those are hour-and-a-half sessions where we try to help them solve some problems. How can we give them just enough information to help them make their management of their business. Develop, design, and execute programming that is important to women who want to either go into business on their own or be successful in the job or career that they're in. And so what women need is slightly different than what guys need to get them motivated to go out on their own into business. That's what research shows.
Right.
And so we let women determine what those programs are. And then we support them as best we can. And we have something coming up just this week called Women, Wine, and Wisdom Series. And it's a combination of a reception and networking event with some information. And so the second half of the information is empowering women in the workplace. And we have a panel of women that are going to talk about how they were able to work in some male-dominated industries and be successful as an equal in that workplace. And so that's one of those other types of niche initiatives
Right.
that are really important.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Do you happen to know the date on that, or where do we find that?
That's coming up this Wednesday.
This Wednesday.
And so it's May 10th
Okay.
for those that are watching.
Yeah.
It's at Nickel Plate Arts, and there is a small cost.
Right.
For this particular event, sometimes we have costs for members versus non-members. This one's all the same. It's $20, and they get a couple of glasses of wine, as you can imagine,
Right.
and they get the great program, and they get the networking. And one of the things we found with these smaller groups when we get together is they really become small business support networks where they're trading business cards, they're trading business leads, and they're trying to make each other successful. And so we want to replicate that model in lots of different niche segments within the Noblesville business community.
Right. When when I first joined the chamber, which is almost like 8 years ago now, one of my goals and what I envisioned the chamber doing for me is helping me grow my business. That's kind of why I wanted to be a part. And then, I live in Noblesville, so I wanted to kind of support the local community the best I could, and part of that is networking and connecting, different businesses together to help them grow their businesses too. I know a lot of people maybe when they start thinking about the chamber, they say, what good is it or whatever, I've ran into businesses, since I do sales, just saying, I used to be part of it, but it never did anything for me. I always asked them, well, what did you do for it? So, one of the points of resistance when people say, I can't join the chamber, I don't have time.
well, you don't have to put time into the chamber if you can simply support our efforts, and it's somewhat of an insurance policy. So knowing that you have an entity out there that is, got the back of the business community. So we're always monitoring for decisions being done at the local level, at the county level, at the state level, and federal level, to make sure that there are good decisions that are supportive of the business community. So that's kind of an insurance policy. But for those businesses that can join and get engaged like you add value to us because you're out in the field listening to business folks, and you bring concerns to us that you hear out there, and that's really important to us. And then you get back because we best understand your business. So we know how to connect people up to you and send people your way, and so it's a partnership back and forth. The chamber is not a staff. It is a group of business folks coming together to solve community problems, and that's where the power lies.
You're right, and there are if you do want to be involved. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of time. I mean, go to a lunch, everybody's got to eat, so I mean, just the after hour stuff. I mean, there are a lot of different things that are going on all the time.
Yeah. And we recognize that people have business cycles too. So, we may not see accountants in the first quarter of the year because they're busy. Right. But we'll see them as they relax a little bit in the summertime, and that's when they can make some business connections and tee up some new business along the way. If people simply just come to our monthly luncheons, you get a good lunch, and you get a chance to sit around the table with other business folks, other community folks, and learn about what's going on in the community. They tend to be kind of fun, and at least I think they're fun anyways.
We have a question from the audience.
Question from the audience.
We have a question for them. This is outstanding.
When are you going to have beef for your luncheons? You always have chicken.
We are chicken dominant. When we charge $25 a head as opposed to the $20, then we're going to beef.
Yeah. Ruth Chris, right? Ruth Chris.
Where's the beef?
One of the local restaurants can cook up a big steak, right?
That's right.
I know we also have some other events coming up in the near future. It's crazy to think it comes so fast nowadays, but like the golf outing.
Yeah, we the golf outing is a critical financial activity for the chamber. It supports a significant portion of our budget, but it's a great networking opportunity.
It's fantastic.
And I can tell you that I came from somewhere else where we had a successful golf tournament. I had participated in lots of different golf tournaments, and when people described to me what would happen at the Noblesville Chamber golf tournament, that it really was a business-to-business networking opportunity that worked for them, I had doubts. After my first year, those doubts quickly went away. When I saw businesses set up on every hole, promoting their own business and then trying to connect people up with each other, it is a very successful networking event that throws in a little bit of golf along the way.
Right. Yeah.
And financially it's worth it. So last year we shifted it to Birdies and Brews, and so now it's Birdies and Brews 2.
I'm a huge fan.
And so there are craft brewers set up doing tastings and education on every third hole. And so it's a chance to support local business, a chance to savor some locally Hoosier-grown beverages, and support the chamber at the same time.
Oh,
We have a question from the audience.
another question.
This audience is great.
At what point do they allow the drinkers to stop driving the golf carts?
Well, that is a good point. That is a good point. I tell you, there are a few of us that are trained in this area to spot folks that may enjoy some of our activities more than they need to.
Do you have Uber drivers for the golf carts?
Yeah. So one of the good things, because of the business setting, people tend to be a little bit more responsible, and so that's good. It's kind of self-policing, so that's wonderful. And they are little tastes.
Yeah, they are. You're not getting full beers.
All poured by licensed servers, by the way.
Yeah, and some fantastic beers.
Yeah,
I mean, really. I mean, we have a lot of great local brewers.
We do. I know that the folks over at Deer Creek have already started thinking about what is it they will brew up just for us.
Oh, special Noblesville.
So there's something coming. It's gonna be it's gonna be good, and I will have to sample some in advance just to pre-approve, of course. But it's a great event. Our other signature event is our Taste of Business that happens in the spring.
Oh yeah,
and it's kind of a giant showcase where we can celebrate all the good things that go on in Noblesville and the businesses. And last year we added a Made in Noblesville section to highlight our manufacturers.
Which was cool.
Yeah, yeah, you know, because people drive by those giant buildings all the
Right.
time and wonder what do they make there? What goes on behind the scenes? And this was a chance to show those things. And I know that several people said, I have that aquarium in my house.
Yeah, yeah.
And they didn't realize it was made right here in Noblesville. And so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to see.
Well, I know we're kind of running short on time. If somebody wants to reach out to the chamber, maybe join, has a question, you know, what to get their grandma for their birthday or whatever,
Yeah.
how do they reach out to you?
Yeah. Well, any which way. We are physically located in the Hamilton East Public Library in Noblesville. We have scheduled office hours, but sometimes if we're both out at a meeting, we have a small staff. You can always leave us a note, but you can go to our website, www.noblesvillechamber.com. You can certainly call us, 317-773-0086, or info@noblesvillechamber.com as an email. So there's 3 different ways. You can follow us on Twitter and follow us on Facebook and learn a little bit more about what we have. But we love sitting down and have a cup of coffee with folks who just want to learn a little bit more about the chamber. There's no obligations. Someone wants to launch a business and has been dreaming about it for a while and needs a little help. We love talking to those folks as well, to sit down and we can help you get started on your way.
That's fantastic. Well, I personally appreciate you, everything. You know, I think I can speak for the board. You know, we are really happy to have you here. You've made some changes, a lot of improvements, and look forward to continuing our relationship and keeping you here for a while.
Excellent. No, I'm here to stay.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Curt. Appreciate it.
Thank
the
you.
opportunity.
Oh, of course. What I do staffing. Jim always wants to talk about myself, so I work with Express Employment Professionals. We help companies find the right people and solve their hiring problems. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach me at 317-596-9370, because if you're hiring, it's horrible, but I can help you. So I will wrap it up now, and appreciate it again. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.